Hi everyone, this is Cheryl. It was requested that I speak on a subject that might be controversial for some. That subject is reincarnation and what I feel about that. I do believe in reincarnation. Specifically, what I was requested to speak on today was animal reincarnation, as in pets, and do they come back? And I believe that they do, just like we do. I believe that reincarnation exists. It just doesn't make logical sense to me that we're here to learn everything there is to know about this place within just one lifetime. There's too much to learn. There's too many lessons. There's too many things we need to do before we graduate from this place and move on to whatever's next, which I have no idea what that is. All I know is this place requires more than one lifetime. I mean, it just doesn't make sense that you can learn everything you need to know in one lifetime before you move on here. It's not logical to me. So yes, I do believe in reincarnation for humans and for animals. As a matter of fact, recently I was able to help somebody with a situation. She had a dog that she had rescued. She's like me, she rescues animals. And this particular dog she rescued when he was like, I'm not sure how old he was. I think he was 6 or 7 when she first rescued him. And they had many years together. He was certified as her emotional support animal. She took him everywhere. They were completely in love with each other. She saved him from a horrible, horrible situation where he was not allowed to move around. He was kept in a cage all the time. He was abused. It was awful. But she rescued him from that, and they were together for many years. And unfortunately, he got congestive heart failure as he got old, and there came a time when she had to say goodbye to him, and she had to put him to sleep, and she did. She was completely devastated. She still is over his death. I mean, he was very, very special to her. But one of the things she was wondering is if she would ever have a dog like him again. And one day online, I only know her through Facebook, but one day online, a woman contacted her and said that she would be willing to do a reading for her for a fee. And that's fine, but she can't afford that. So I offered to look into it for free. It's something I can do. It's not something I do all the time because I don't like to invade the privacy of others, but I can do it, and I have done it in the past. This was my first time doing it with somebody else's pet. Usually I do it with people and situations like that when I look into things on what you would call a psychic or ESP kind of level. In this particular case, I told her I could tune in for free and that she wouldn't have to pay that woman if she wanted. I felt just instinctively that that woman wasn't going to give her accurate information anyway. I don't know why, but I felt like her pup just didn't want to speak to her through this woman. So I offered to look into it, and she asked me to. So I did, and I got almost an immediate message, which kind of threw me for a loop, which was her pup telling me that he was coming back very quickly as a puppy. I mean, like almost instantly as a puppy, and that she was going to have an opportunity to adopt him as a puppy, and that she should take advantage of that, and that this was going to happen very quickly. I was surprised because, like me, she's not the kind of person who goes out and buys puppies. She rescues usually adult animals in need. So I wrote that to her, and I told her, I was a little hesitant in saying this because I know that this isn't how she operates, but this is the message I got, and I wasn't going to alter it or change it. And that her dog was letting me know he was coming back as a puppy, like right away, and she was going to have the opportunity to adopt him, and she should take advantage of it because it's him, and that she would know looking in his eyes that it was him, that they would recognize each other. It turns out she responded back a couple minutes after I told her that and said that a friend of hers had contacted her, and he had neighbors or some people he knew whose dogs had an accidental litter of puppies. And he felt that very strongly that the boy puppy that was born, I think there was only like 2 or 3 pups born, should go to her, and that he wanted to give her the puppy when it was weaned. And she wasn't sure about it until she got my message. Now, there's no way I knew that this was happening. That was just a message I got from her dog that died. And I told her one of the things that he said is that she would know him when she saw him. They would recognize each other, and that he wants to be back in her life as much as she wants him back in her life. But his body gave out, and so he had to get a new body. And I was pleasantly surprised to be accurate on that. And she did indeed get the puppy, and he's with her now. And he very clearly is the reincarnation of her dog. He looks similar, he acts the same, he gazes at her the same. You can look in his eyes and see it's the same soul in there. And her other dog was a Facebook presence, and her current dog, her new puppy, is becoming one too. And she's going to have a very happy life with this puppy. And I'm glad that he's back in her life. So I do believe in reincarnation. I think it's something that just happens naturally. It's with animals and humans, I think it's something we're drawn to do because there's so much here to learn. And I think it's something that we are here to do, to experience. And you could say it's an experience. If you're religious, you could say it's to become closer to God or closer to the source or closer to whatever deity you happen to worship. I say that everything is one. I believe in the concept of one. We're all connected. All of life is connected. Everything's connected. And I'm not sure why, but the only thing that makes sense to me is it's kind of like your body. You require your body to experience this place. You have to be inside a body to experience this place fully. And your body is made up of billions and billions of cells and atoms and whatever. And so we're like one of those atoms, maybe not even that important, but we're part of something more. And just like all those billions of atoms independently create our body that we inhabit and that we get to experience life through this body while we're here, I think that this is also an expression of the source. In other words, we may be part of something bigger. I'm not saying it's God. I don't label it. I'm not arrogant enough to say that I know what it is. I just know that most people feel an instinctive sense that we're part of something more. Part of that is ego-based. Part of that is us wanting to believe we're important and vital. This place is a paradox, and the only thing I can say is, yes, you're important, and you're also completely insignificant. Just like the cells and atoms in your body. Without those, you wouldn't have a body, and you wouldn't be able to experience this place. However, at the same time, while you're in this body, cells are dying and regenerating all the time. You don't notice that. You don't pay attention to it unless it happens to cause a disease. It's not something that you notice or even think about on your day-to-day life. And I think that whatever that something more is, we're a part of it, but I don't think it's watching us or judging us or anything else, because I think it's busy having its own experience. And I'm not sure how it works, but all I know is I sense that. And interestingly enough, I've had many, many metaphysical experiences in my life. That's one of the things that happened to me in this lifetime. It's something that my whole family has had experiences with. And I've been able to do certain things like give readings or see things that other people can't or don't or won't or whatever your path is. Everyone has their own path of learning, and all paths lead to the same place. I believe even the evil ones do. People like Hitler or Stalin or any other leader who's currently in charge today. I believe that when you do bad, you have to make up for it, and you have to learn from it. And that's one of the things you have to learn from here. It's there's an old saying that you can't appreciate the light unless you've been through the dark. You can't appreciate love unless you've been through hate. And it's true. We need to learn all those things. This place is a paradox. Both things are true. Both things happen. Life and death happen all the time. Evil and good happen all the time. And all paths are valid. And you need to learn from your paths. And if you do things that are destructive rather than constructive, if you do things that are the antithesis of love, it's because you need to learn from them so you can learn how to love properly. And again, you can't do all this in one lifetime. I don't believe that. So those are my feelings on reincarnation. And that comes with animals and humans. I mean, we're animals too. And I think it's just one of the laws of this place that you have to come back many times to learn what you need to learn here. And then eventually you realize you've learned enough. You've completed all the major life lessons you need to learn here at some point if you've been around long enough. And then your soul moves on to whatever the next lesson is in the next place. I don't know if it's still part of this reality, another reality, or what. I don't know, because obviously I'm still here. And so I don't know what's next. And I just wanted to share that and let you all know how I feel about it. And I hope that helps you. But I'm not trying to convert you. If you believe something different, again, your path is valid. And if you believe that there is no such thing as metaphysical stuff, or that we're part of something more, or that you're a complete atheist or whatever, that's fine. I don't believe in the Christian construct of God. I will admit that. I do not believe that there is a supreme being who acts and is just like us. I think that that's a construct of our ego. I think that humans invented that to make themselves feel like they're more important, more like at the top of the food chain, somehow differentiating themselves from other creatures on Earth to make ourselves seem more important. I don't believe that that's true, by the way. I don't believe we are more important. I think that we are just as significant and insignificant as any other creature on Earth. And I don't believe that there is some supreme being who happens to look and act just like us, who controls this place. I don't believe that. I do believe, however, that we're part of something more. I just don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. I just know that I feel it. And some people might call that the Tao, the source, God, whatever you want to call it. I just feel it's something more. And I don't label it, again, because I don't want to put any ego on it. I don't want to assume it's like me or even cares about me, because I don't think it does. I think that it cares about me about as much as I care about my cells and atoms in my body. Of course, I want them to stay healthy so I can experience this place for as long as possible in a way that I want to experience it. That said, I know that there's cells and atoms dying probably by the millions in my body right now and being regenerated, and I'm not grieving every death. I'm not judging every death. I'm not judging every living cell in my body and telling it it's good or bad or worthy or not worthy. And I don't think that whatever we're a part of does that either. I think that the judgment that happens comes from us. And I think it comes between lifetimes. And I think that we set up lifetimes and life lessons with people that are in our lives multiple times, and with new souls that we want to meet. There's so many souls here, and there's so many potential agreements and arrangements and lessons that can be learned here. And it's an opportunity. So that's how I see this place. Anyway, I hope that helps you all. And I'm very glad I was able to help that one woman. I've also helped people with dealing with death with other humans in their lives, and have been able to give them information. And surprisingly, I was pretty accurate in those too. It just seems to be something I can do at times. Again, I don't know where it comes from, but my mother had the ability. My oldest sister used to have the ability. And apparently it runs in my family to some degree. So it may be just some genetic thing. It may be genetic and environmental. I don't know why it is that I can see stuff that others can't. I just know that it exists and that it's been validated many, many times. I'm somebody who's very practical, and I always look for a pedantic, pedestrian explanation to anything metaphysical at first. However, when I'm getting information that I can't possibly know, like, for example, from this woman's dog who died. I've never met this woman. We only know each other through Facebook. She lives across the country from me. I've never met her dog. I've only seen pictures and videos of him on Facebook. But I was still able to get information, and it turned out to be completely accurate. And maybe it's because I allow myself to just take in the information and I don't try and edit it or whatever, or put a spin on it to make it sound better. I just tell people whatever the information is that I'm getting. And strangely enough, it's usually accurate. I don't know why. But again, it's not something I can run around and do at will. If it was, I'd be a multimillionaire right now because I would have picked the winning lottery numbers. It just doesn't work that way for me, unfortunately. So I hope that helps you all. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to write them below and I will read them. Have a good night.